Today I just want to talk a little bit about the realities of living in Thailand as somebody who's lived here for about 2.5 years now. I'm in Phuket. This is one of the quiet parts of Phuket. As you can see, I've managed to find somewhere where there is actually nobody else at all. Just boats, mangroves, birds. For now, that's about it. So first of all, why I moved to Thailand? Why did I come to Thailand? I'm from the UK. I'd lived in the UK all my life. I'd always wanted to try living in another country. And things in the UK had got a little bit depressing, to be honest. The general discourse, the political situation, post-Brexit, all that stuff, day to day, was just quite miserable. A sense that people just felt deflated. The UK was not in a happy place. Arguably still isn't in a happy place. So I wanted to try living somewhere different, and for me it was just a good time to do it. It was just after the pandemic, Thailand was opening up again. It was only just possible to go and visit Thailand again. I was in my early 40s and I thought it's now or never. I didn't have any particular ties to the UK. I wasn't interested in sticking with the job that I was in at the time, so I thought, do it now, just do it. So I just sold everything and bought a one-way ticket, brought my cat, of course. For me, that's non-negotiable. My cat comes with me everywhere. Not everywhere, I mean, if I'm moving to another country, he's coming, I'm not leaving him. I decided to just take a leap into the unknown, really. I wanted a new start. I wanted to live somewhere warm. I mean, look at it. It's often normally like this. It's about 30 degrees. Phuket's always around 30 degrees, sometimes a bit warmer, sometimes a bit cooler, but pretty much 30 degrees. And in the UK, it's normally quite cold. Cold and wet and grey and dark, and I'd had enough of it. So when I first arrived, my first impressions, not an awful lot of people here at the time still, and there was definitely some culture shock. I remember the first time I went out to try and find food, and I'd only just arrived, so I'd been travelling for like 24 hours or something. I wasn't feeling very adventurous. I thought I'll just go to 7-Eleven. I recognised that, I've seen 7-Eleven before. I'll just get something from there. In my extremely tired, exhausted state, even that was overwhelming, in all honesty, because everything's in Thai. I didn't understand anything. And not only that, they weren't products that I recognised. I didn't know what anything was, or most things. So I didn't know what to buy, I didn't know what to eat. I ended up just buying crisps, or chips if you're American. That was my first meal in Thailand, sadly. But that was just meal number one. That didn't last for long. But yeah, even just the cultural shock of just not recognising any of the food was difficult to start with. But other than that, I mean, I found it to be a really, really nice, chilled place. So my first impressions were, it looks really nice. It does look a bit chaotic sometimes, and it is sometimes. So what you start to realise after you've been here a little while, it is more relaxed. Thailand is a more kind of relaxed, easygoing place. By relaxed, I kind of mean that in the sense that they leave you alone. People don't really bother you. And safety. I've felt very safe the whole time I've been in Thailand. I remember the first time I hired a bike and I drove into Phuket town, which is the main town on the island, and it was quite busy there, and I saw that everybody else was leaving their helmets, just sat on the bike, and I wasn't sure what to do. I wasn't sure if it was safe to leave my helmet just sitting there. I thought surely someone's going to steal it. We're in a town or a city, because in the UK that would probably happen. If I left a helmet on a bike, it probably wouldn't be there when I came back. I used to have a scooter in London a long time ago when I lived in London, and you couldn't leave anything on the bike because it would get stolen. Even my battery, the battery from the bike was stolen in London. And so for a long time I didn't even replace the battery. I was just riding my bike around with no battery because I thought if I buy another one it's going to get stolen again. That doesn't happen here in Thailand. It's very safe. Crime is very low. You do see in the news sometimes altercations with tourists. Usually alcohol is involved. Usually in the big tourist resorts like Patong is where you get the most trouble because you've got the most people, and it's a party town. People come for the partying, and you get a lot of people behaving very stupidly. But generally, outside Patong and other places, Thailand's very safe. compared to Western countries, certainly the UK. You can leave your keys in the bike, which I've done accidentally before. Nobody steals your bike, nobody cares. Even when I've been in Bangkok, incredibly busy city, so many people, so hectic and so busy, I've never felt unsafe. I've wandered around streets in Bangkok in the middle of the night, down tiny little dark alleyways on my own. Alleyways that, if it was in the UK, you would think, I'm not going down there, it's too dark, it's not well lit, doesn't feel safe. I've never felt in the slightest bit threatened in Bangkok, and the same here in Phuket. It is a big difference, and it's nice. It means you can relax and have a better quality of life. Cost of living. Oh, this is a big one, of course, the cost of living in Thailand. Is it really as cheap as people say it is? It is cheap, yes, it is cheaper. As with anywhere, really, there's a range, and you can go and pay Western prices for all sorts of things if you want to. You can pay above Western prices, but at the same time, you will find things much, much cheaper. And overall, the cost of living is definitely a lot cheaper than Western countries. I'm sure it was even cheaper in the past. If I'd have come 20 years ago, I would probably be shocked by the prices now. And in 20 years' time, we'll all be shocked by the prices then as well. But just look at it for what it is now. It is cheaper than Western countries. It depends on your choices as well. For instance, if you eat Thai food, small Thai restaurants, not geared towards tourists, you're going to be paying in Phuket an average of about 80 baht for a meal, for a good meal. If that's in a tourist resort, it might be more like 120, 140 baht. But still, you're only talking a few pounds, a few dollars. It's nothing compared to what you would pay in the UK, in the US, in Western countries. You can live on very little money over here, and your money goes a lot further. If you start buying Western style food, things like that, of course you're going to spend more money. Visas. Now, when I came here, I wanted to be prepared, so I applied for a 3-month tourist visa before I arrived. That was an e-visa, so I applied online before I came. I already had the visa when I arrived. In the past couple of years, they've actually made the visa on arrival more attractive. I think you now get 60 days on arrival, so you don't need to sort out any visa. If you're from some countries, the UK being one of them, you'll have to look up which other countries have visas on arrival. It depends where you're from. But certainly if you're from the UK at the moment, you can come here without arranging anything beforehand and stay for 60 days, and then you can do a visa run, leave the country, come back in and do another 60 days. Other options, as I said, there is a tourist e-visa that you can get before you come. And if you're thinking about staying longer term, there's other visa options as well. There's the ED visa, education visa. What most people do is they sign up to a language school and learn Thai. Doesn't have to be Thai, you can learn other languages if you want to. You can do education visas for up to 3 years. So you could just do 6 months to start with, or you could do a year to start with. And you have to go to lessons, you have to go and study the language. But yeah, if you're in Thailand, learning Thai makes a lot of sense. It's not that useful outside Thailand, but it makes a lot of sense while you're here. It's not the cheapest. Education visas are not the cheapest. You have to pay the language school, their fee. You have to pay all sorts of other visa-related fees. Every 90 days you have to go to immigration, pay 5,000 baht to renew your visa. So it does add up. It's not the cheapest way to do things, but overall, over the cost of a year, it's not that bad, really. The other option that's more recent is the DTV visa, or Destination Thailand visa. Some people call it a digital nomad visa. That's quite recent, but seems to be a good option. You can stay up to 5 years on that visa. There are some requirements. You have to have a certain amount of money in the bank. You have to be able to show that. I can't remember exactly how much. It's a few £1,000s, a few $1,000s. I can't remember exactly, but obviously you need that to be able to get this visa. But they are encouraging people to come and stay and work on the DTV visa. They want you to come, they're making it easier. So yes, visas are not the easiest thing to navigate in Thailand, and there's a lot of paperwork to do. I mean, I said that I did a tourist visa, an e-visa. Most of these things involve a lot of paperwork, to be honest. You do have to go to immigration, fill out all the forms, and it can be a bit confusing and it can take a while. Another thing to consider is don't think of it like a holiday. give yourself a little bit of time to treat it like a holiday. I'm on holiday for the first couple of weeks, and after that I'm going to start treating it like where I live. This is where I live now. I need to get to know the place, I need to find out how things work, I need to explore and just try and settle into a bit of a rhythm. You don't want to end up burning through all your money early on before you get settled. The other thing is just to embrace the differences. You know, Thailand is very different to Western countries. The differences won't all be apparent until you've been here for a while, and it can be frustrating. Sometimes you just don't know how things are supposed to work. You don't know what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, who you're supposed to ask, how you're supposed to behave, things like that. But you need to kind of just let that go. Just be very kind of accepting that you're in another country. Things are different, and that's why you came, right? You came for the difference. You came for something new, something unusual, to throw yourself into a situation where you wouldn't be entirely comfortable. You're here to learn. You're here to grow and expand your mind. I think that's a good way to look at it. Do not expect Thailand to conform to you and your ideas about the way things work. Thailand is a very accepting place, very welcoming place. And that's one of the reasons I like it here so much. If you like warm places, you like great food, you like a low cost of living, relaxed attitude, and beautiful scenery, then it might just be the place for you. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.